John and Mary lived in a small village called Umidike. They were poor, but they were happy. John was a hard-working farmer, and Mary was the best cook in the village. Every morning, John went to the farm, and Mary prepared food for them. They loved each other very much and dreamed of a better life. One day, Mary became very sick. She had a fever and could not get out of bed. John tried everything he could to help her, but nothing worked. The village healer said she needed special medicine from the city, but it was very expensive. John had no money. John did not know what to do. He sat outside his small hut, thinking. How can I save my wife? He asked himself. Then, an idea came to his mind, but it was a dangerous one. John went to the rich trader in the village, Mr. Okafor. Mr. Okafor was a man who lent money to people, but he always asked for something in return. Please, I need money to buy medicine for my wife, John begged. I will do anything. Mr. Okafor smiled. Anything? Will you sell yourself as a slave to me for 1 year? John's heart sank, but he had no choice. Yes, I will, he said. The next morning, John signed a paper that said he would work for Mr. Okafor without pay for 1 year. In return, Mr. Okafor gave him enough money to buy the medicine. John ran to the city and bought the medicine. When he returned, Mary was still very weak. He gave her the medicine and prayed. Please, let my wife get better, he whispered. Days passed, and Mary became stronger. But John knew he had to leave her soon to work for Mr. Okafor. John moved to Mr. Okafor's house. His new life was full of suffering. He woke up before the sun, swept the compound, fetched water, and walked in the fields. He ate only once a day and slept on the cold floor. Mr. Okafor's son, Chike, was cruel. He made John do extra work for fun. John missed Mary, but he told himself, it is only 1 year. I will survive. Back at home, Mary cried every night. She knew her husband was suffering because of her. She prayed that the year would pass quickly. John did not give up. He worked hard and never complained. The other servants admired him. John is strong, they said. He is doing this for love. One day, Mr. Okafor's farm was attacked by thieves. John fought them bravely and saved the farm. Mr. Okafor was surprised. Why did you risk your life? He asked. Because I am an honest man, John said. Mr. Okafor began to respect him, but Chike was jealous. Chike did not like that his father was starting to admire John. He wanted John to suffer more. One day, he told his father, John is pretending. He is not a good man. He only wants something from you. Mr. Okafor frowned. John has done nothing wrong. I see his hard work. But Chike was not satisfied. He decided to make John's life harder. He hid Mr. Okafor's money and blamed John for stealing it. Mr. Okafor was very angry when he found out his money was missing. John, he shouted. Where is my money? John was shocked. I did not take it, sir. I would never steal, but Chike said, I saw him near your room, father. He must be the thief. Mr. Okafor did not know what to believe. He called the village elders to decide John's fate. The elders gathered in Mr. Okafor's compound. John, you are accused of stealing. What do you say? One elder asked. I did not steal, John said. I am innocent. Chike pretended to cry. I saw him. I swear it. The elders spoke among themselves. If John is guilty, he must be punished, one said. John prayed that the truth would come out before it was too late. Just as the elders were about to decide, a young servant ran in. I saw Chike hide the money in the backyard, she said. Everyone gasped. Mr. Okafor turned to Chike. Is this true? Chike's face turned pale. I only wanted to teach him a lesson. Mr. Okafor was furious. You lied. John is innocent. John was relieved, but he knew Chike would not stop trying to harm him. After the truth came out, Mr. Okafor apologized to John. I was wrong to doubt you, he said. But you still have 6 more months to work. John nodded. He had promised, and he would keep his word. Back at home, Mary missed John more than ever. She wished she could see him, even just for a moment. John, too, wished the months would pass faster. He wanted to go home, but he had to be patient. One evening, a stranger arrived at Mr. Okafor's compound. He was a rich man from the city named Iken. I heard of John's bravery, he said. I want to buy his freedom. Mr. Okafor was surprised. John still has 6 months left. I will pay double for his remaining time, Mr. Obi said. A man like him should not be a slave. John's heart raced. Could this be his chance to go home early? Mr. Okafor thought for a while and then said, John has been loyal and hardworking. But he agreed to 1 year of service. Mr. Obi replied, I respect that, but he has already given so much. Let him go, and I will give you more than you expected. John held his breath. Would Mr. Okafor accept the offer? Mr. Okafor finally sighed. Very well. John, you are free. Go home to your wife. Tears filled John's eyes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Obi. He ran home, eager to see Mary again. John returned home to Mary, who cried tears of joy upon seeing him. I thought I would never see you again, she sobbed, hugging him tightly. I am home now, and I will never leave you again, John reassured her. The village welcomed John back as a hero. Many admired his sacrifice and strength. Even Mr. Obi, the man who had bought his freedom, continued to support him. One day, Mr. Obi visited John with an offer. You are a man of integrity. I want to help you. Come to the city with me. I will give you work and a new beginning. John hesitated. He loved his village, but he also wanted a better future for Mary and himself. Let us go together, Mary encouraged. This is our chance. With heavy hearts but hopeful spirits, John and Mary left Umidike to start a new life in the city. In the city, John worked hard for Mr. Obi and saved enough money to build a new home. Mary started a small restaurant, and people came from far and wide to taste her delicious meals. Their struggles had made them stronger. Looking at their new life, John smiled. I once sold myself to save you, but now, we are truly free. Mary held his hand and whispered, and we will never be apart again. Their journey had been difficult, but love, sacrifice, and perseverance had led them to happiness at last. Months passed, and John and Mary's life in the city flourished. But one day, Chike arrived unexpectedly. I have not forgotten what you did to me, John, he sneered. John clenched his fist but remained calm. You ruined yourself, Chike. Leave us alone. Chike smirked. We will see about that. One day, Mary's restaurant was vandalized. Tables were broken, pots smashed, and her savings stolen. The neighbors said they saw Chike lurking nearby. John knew he had to confront him. He found Chike at a gambling den. Why did you do this? He demanded. Chike laughed. This is only the beginning. You took everything from me. Now I will take everything from you. John decided to report Chike to the city guards. When they arrested him, Chike shouted, This is not over, John. John sighed, watching as Chike was taken away. We will finally have peace, Mary. Mary smiled, holding his hand. No matter what happens, we will always have each other. Their journey had been difficult, but love, sacrifice, and perseverance had led them to happiness at last.